Ghidorah is at a loss for words due to almost being murdered. If the culprit is in fact the person he suspects, this would mean the Emperor knew about he and Yuki's plans all along. On top of this, a certain citizen here in Tempest looks identical to the Emperor, though said person seems to have no idea. In the end, Ghidorah resolves himself to tell both Rimuru and Yuki everything he knows. Over in the east, already aware that he's being watched, Yuki receives word from Ghidorah before declaring that Masayuki is the spitting image of the Emperor. If that wasn't shocking enough, Ghidorah was apparently murdered by one of Yuki's closest allies. At this point, 1 month has passed since the East began marching. Tempest's surveillance system prevents any surprise attacks, however the slow progression has caused Ramirez and Veldora to grow bored. Heck, even Rimuru is wishing they could just get this over with. The invading force is at least 700,000 troops, and the tank division has made camp just outside of the Dwarven Kingdom. At the same time, the infantry division is sneaking through the forest toward Tempest, wholly unaware the monsters are watching them. According to Soe, the East's soldiers are stronger than the West's knights. Granted, their collective strength will mean nothing inside the dungeon. Turning their attention north, Gobta and Gabiru are both stationed at Dworgen, awaiting the enemy's arrival. Our group then discusses the best strategy to defend Dworgen, before Rimuru uses a magical device to call Gazeel. It's obvious the Dwarven King is uncomfortable with this new technology, so I'd bet he's wishing he had a pair of Raycon's newly improved everyday earbuds. I mean, the previous earbuds were bought and loved by more than 3 million people, and it's literally half the price of other brands. There's numerous noteworthy points, such as 32-hour battery life, quick charge capabilities, and multi-point Bluetooth connectivity, but personally, there's 2 specific features that caught my attention. You see, I despise cutting my lawn, but to make it more bearable, I usually listen to the Command Zone podcast. Now, with my previous earbuds, I'd need to have the volume at max, which was actually a bit painful. However, Raycon's active noise cancellation feature helps block out the loud mower, meaning I can comfortably listen without any pain or discomfort. I'd also like to point out that my wife always disliked earbuds, as they'd always fall out of her ears, but due to Raycon's ergonomic design and gel tips, my everyday earbuds somehow keep finding their way into her purse. Click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/unseen to get 15% off your Raycon purchase plus free shipping. Lastly, I recommend the Purple Clouds protective case, but be sure to pick whatever color and design you prefer. Thank you Raycon for sponsoring this video. A moment later, the Dwarven King reveals that Yuki's composite division is currently blocking the eastern entrance to Dworgen. Of course, according to Ghidorah, Yuki is allegedly their ally, but they don't fully trust Ghidorah's info on this topic. Then due to Dworgen's laws, Gazeel is unable to preemptively attack. However, since the forest has been invaded, Tempest is considering military action. The Dwarven King proudly declares they will uphold their alliance by following Tempest's lead, and both leaders agree the dwarves should focus on defense, while the Tempestians focus on attack. And it's thanks to Raphael's analysis that the dwarves have begun building physical walls instead of relying on magic alone. So with all the preparations taken care of, Gazeel wonders if they can win, prompting Rimuru to declare they don't have a choice. Over at Dworgen, 15,000 troops are awaiting orders. Testarossa and Ultima are enjoying a tea party, with the demons Veyron and Zonda serving them. Gobta and Gabiru praise the chef, however the demonesses both complain. Not understanding the women, Gobta states the food tastes great, but Gabiru points out that women care for more than taste alone. Having displeased his master, Zonda apologizes, followed by the women ignoring his words, but talking about their servants as if they're not here. Though from a demon's perspective, this is actually extremely high praise. Gobta admits it must be tough being a lady, but at the end of the day, this is a battlefield. With glares of death, they find this goblin amusing, just as the thought communication comes in. Sir Rimuru has selected Testarossa to be their diplomat, and she's asked to go speak with the enemy. Immediately accepting, she's warned this will be dangerous, but she's more than ready to eliminate anyone who rejects Rimuru's mercy. Finding her display of bloodlust creepy, Gobta promises to protect Testarossa, and of course, Ranga will be joining them as well. So then with their full orders received, Gobta rallies his troops to move out. Back in Tempest, our slime can relax due to Testarossa being so reliable, but it sort of worries him she might actually be as strong as she acts. Oh well, that's the enemy's problem now, though he really should tell Gobta the truth about her. With a few words of encouragement, Ranga heads out, followed by Benimaru explaining a tank's weakness is its severe lack of mobility. So in order to reduce needless casualties, the 100 Goblin Riders will attack alone, using their high speed to dodge any incoming tank shells. By their estimation, a Goblin Rider can survive anything but a direct hit, Plus, they're planning to retreat the moment they become outmatched. Of course, Rimuru worries this strategy is too risky and that someone may die, but Benimaru declares you must give it your all to win a war. Lieutenant General Gaster is commanding the Magic Tank Force, and is eager to claim glory for conquering the Dwarven Kingdom. His unique skill, Performer, allows him to control sound waves, which is perfect for gathering intel and can even be used to kill. Noticing the forest grow unusually quiet, Gaster orders his troops to get ready, just as a massive wolf steps out of the trees. A lone woman with an unusual sounding heartbeat dismounts the beast. However, the concerning part is Gaster's lack of intel on this beauty. Without fear, she confidently conveys Rimuru's wishes to have the Eastern Empire peacefully leave, followed by a line being burned into the grass, declaring no mercy will be given if they dare cross it. Without even waiting for a response, she turns her back, sending Gaster into a rage. How dare these monsters act so disrespectful, so he orders a marksman to eliminate her. A single finger deflects the oncoming magical bullet, and Testarossa happily accepts this to be their answer. Veldora and Ramirez casually say it's begun, followed by Rimuru half-panicked, ordering them to evacuate the town. In the blink of an eye, Tempest is transported to floor 100 of the dungeon, though we learn Trainee has stepped out to greet a certain individual. As Ranga retreats, the green numbers begin flanking, while the 100 members of Team Hiru, plus 300 Wyvern Riders move to attack. Tanks are aiming directly at the Goblin Riders, Rimuru yells, relaying the message. Elsewhere, it seems our pale goblin has finally realized just how powerful Testarossa is. Benimaru orders them into the shadows, followed by 22 tank shells, transforming the forest into a hellscape. Even within shadow motion, the shockwaves still reached them. However, they took no casualties, and Testarossa looks entirely unfazed. With Gabiru's team nearing the battle, it's Gobta's job to charge the front lines. Of course, our friendly slime worries since they can't use shadow motion, as Testarossa confirmed that magic exists to counter it. Our goblin is now extremely terrified of this woman, and Benimaru has also grown curious about the 3 demonesses Diablo brought back, though Rimuru puts off that topic until later. With clear orders, Gobta rushes in, just as Gabiru rains fireballs on the tanks from above. At the front lines, the wolves tear into the infantry, followed by Gobta stuffing a flare bomb, created by Kurobe and Chars, directly into a tank, causing it to explode. Our slime is hopeful the end is near, since the East should be worried about friendly fire, but Benimaru isn't so confident, seeing as the airships are yet to arrive. Lieutenant Gaster is shocked a tank was destroyed, but obviously they can't have many more of those bombs on hand.
2098? 2099, and 3000.
In order to counter the monster's high maneuverability, Gaster orders a formation change. His men exclaim it will risk friendly fire, but are told any soldier caught in it simply wasn't strong enough. Immediately, the tanks slam together, removing all gaps, just before more stack on top, creating a literal wall towering over the goblins. Machine gun fire indiscriminately blankets the area, pissing off Gobta. Not because they've been countered, but from witnessing the East's lack of caution for friendly fire. In a perfect world, Gabiru would assist them from above, however he's currently staring down 100 approaching airships. Using his unique skill to communicate, Gaster declares it's finally time to use the magic cancelers, and Major General Faraga, commander of the airships, fully agrees. Realizing this is futile, Gobta orders a retreat, however as expected, shadow motion is being jammed. To make matters worse, the East just set the forest ablaze, causing some goblins to worry they won't make it back alive. A few wonder if Commander Gobta is anxious. No way, everyone agrees he'd be more worried about what's for dinner. Seeing their advantage, Gaster orders his men not to hold back, as he can't get that despicable woman out of his mind. Due to the magic cancelers, our Dragonutes are having difficulty flying, but even so, Gabiru gives the order to destroy the airships. Someone complains these machines are just too big, but another declares they have no other option. You come to find out, Faraga used to be part of the magic division led by Ghidorah, though he ended up betraying his teacher in search of glory, and today plans to conquer Veldora. It's while raising a glass of wine that Faraga orders all airships to attack. Seeing the tides turn throws Rimuru into a panic, but Benimaru claims this is all within expectation. Our slime doesn't want casualties and shouts he could have used Megiddo, but everyone else rebukes that as a bad idea. Not only do the monsters want to defend their nation, but Megiddo is easily countered once you know how it works, meaning it should only be used as a final trump card. Plus, they're not even sure how effective it will be against the tanks. Well, Rimuru should at least go fight alongside his troops, but nobody is going to allow that, especially after Chloe's story about the East killing him in a different timeline. Confidently, Benimaru promises to claim victory, and Rimuru is well aware casualties are just a part of war. That all being said, the least he can do is give some encouragement, so he sends a message to the front line.
hold nothing back, crush the enemy as fast as you can.
Followed by Benimaru declaring the mission to act weak is officially over. You come to find out, up to this point, Benimaru's objective was to test their opponent's power, and to try and lure out the strongest among them. Releasing his aura, Gobta orders Gobchi to take charge of their troops, as he needs to get serious since Rimuru is watching. This means he'll be parting ways with Testarossa, so she casually leaps off Ranga's back, wishing him luck. With no need to hold back, our duo fuses together. Gobchi warns everyone to stand clear, as tanks are overturned and lightning scorches the area. Shortly before Rimuru gave the order, Gabiru asked Ultima to look after the Wyverns, before ordering Team Hiru to purposely take damage in order to train their resistances. Though after a few moments, and receiving Rimuru's command, Gabiru asks who rules the sky.
Team Hiru! Team Hiru!
Ordering his men not to lose control of their minds, the Dragonew's bodies swell and their scales grow dark, as they each transform into their dragon bodies. In this form, Gabiru's power rivals the former Demon Lord Carrion, and with a single attack, a ship falls from the sky. He then threatens to punish anyone who doesn't take down at least one airship. Hakuro praises the 12,000 green numbers for keeping pace, as their goal is to cut off the enemy's supplies. Knowing most of them to be inexperienced soldiers, Hakuro gives a speech about how all life is not equal, as an enemy you fail to kill today might slaughter your friends and family tomorrow. These words of wisdom were meant to ease their fears, but suddenly Rimuru's speech comes in, eliminating any doubt they once harbored. Machine guns bear down on them, but scale shields made from Charbardus block all physical and magical bullets. Up above, Ultima gives the order to release all flare bombs, turning this battle into a one-sided slaughter. This sweet little girl then asks Hakuro to take care of her troops, and he agrees, but wonders if she's close with Carrera. To his surprise, Ultima states they hate each other, and you learn that one of Carrera's underlings looks just like Hakuro's grandfather, aka the man who taught him martial arts. Furaga is ticked that his intel didn't mention anything about the dragon newts being able to transform. Their explosive growth is simply unfathomable, but all monsters are made of magicals, meaning their magic cancelers will be effective. He's warned turning up the power will cause friendly fire, but Furaga doesn't see an issue. After surrounding the dragons, all magic cancelers are increased, which sends the dragon newts and numerous ships crashing to the ground. With a lone prayer to their sacrificed allies, they now only need to focus on the dragon's leader, whom is caught in their beams unable to move. It's extremely impressive that it's managed to stay flying. Wait, there's only a single monster powerful enough to pull this off. This must be the Veldora. An officer explains their intel named this one Gabiru, but Furaga declares that to be a fake identity. In hindsight, it's a wonderful trade to only lose 30% of their force to defeat Veldora, and at the moment the magic cancelers are still only running at 80% power. Surely, even Veldora won't be able to withstand their maximum output. With his victory in sight, Furaga readies another glass of wine, prompting a cute little girl to want some as well, or maybe some tea would do. Raising his gun, he learns this girl to be Ultima, one of Rimuru's underlings. Apparently, she's come to ask some questions, and since they're all about to die, they should just tell her what she wants to know. Something about her eerie demeanor has everyone terrified, though it's obvious she must be here to save Veldora. Were they not listening, Ultima just has some questions. Furaga refuses, followed by Ultima wondering if her tea is ready yet. A magic canceller ensnares the demon. The gun is fired, yet this little girl successfully catches each and every bullet. A demon without magic is nothing to be afraid of. You'll be last. A head slams into the wall, as Ultima takes the information directly from the man's brain. After another falls, Furaga orders all magic cancelers to target them, but Ultima is just amused they think this will affect her. Unable to believe she can still cast magic, Furaga summons a supercharged Ifrit level spirit, but it's frozen and shattered, followed by this little girl stating all she wanted to do was chat. With all this info she's gathered, Ultima hopes to earn Rimuru's praise, and she finally turns toward the commander. You know, if he tries hard enough, Furaga might just be able to survive, followed by her summoning a pitch black flame, tossing it into his hands. As a mage, he recognizes this to be an Abyss Core, a magic that normally takes multiple top-tier mages to control and cast. Thus, the ship is engulfed in nuclear flame, which actually brings Furaga a last moment of joy. A massive explosion then spreads the flames to the remaining ships. Observing what she's done, and thinking back to Rimuru's speech, Ultima debates whether or not she should have used her full power instead of holding back. Probably not. Team Hiru would have been killed as well. Speaking of which, she flies over to Gabiru, only to find him talking nonsense. Forcefully dragging him to safety, we learn he purposely stayed within the magic cancelers as a sort of experiment. To everyone's surprise, it actually helped him control dragon form, and Ultima is praised for purposely giving him that opportunity, though in reality that wasn't her intention at all. It's explained that dragon form absorbs extra magicals from the air, so the Chancellors forced his body to absorb even more than normal. Obviously, this powered him up, but also left him unable to move. However, this led Gabiru to finally being able to grasp the magicals within himself, which in the end resulted in even greater power and control. Now, to a demon such as Ultima, everything he learned is as natural as breathing, but maybe if she trains these dragon newts, Rimuru will praise her. It's unbelievable to think the tanks are being decimated by a single monster. Without a doubt, they need to retreat, but since they're a diversion for Caligula, he's well aware that'll never be granted. Without them, the armored division will surely be caught in a pincer attack, but in this moment, Gaster's officers are begging to flee. If they did, he'd be punished for his failure, and Gaster must become a hero. An explosion rocks the battlefield as they watch the ships fall from the sky. With a change of heart, he orders a tactical retreat. Testarossa states he can't leave now. They already crossed the line. Absolutely terrified, Gaster orders everyone to attack, but a charming voice from behind explains all his troops are resting. His unique skill verifies the surrounding area is too quiet. Even Testarossa's body is perfectly silent. Panicking, he demands to know if she killed them all, but apparently she was hungry, so helped herself to their souls. Enraged, Gaster unleashes Mind Requiem, an instant kill attack. But this demon responds by simply stating he could have been such a great musician. At this point, Gaster knows the East can't win this war, so he tries negotiating, but then notices footsteps approaching. 3 soldiers leap out, revealing they're from the East's Imperial Intelligence Bureau, and that this is no ordinary archdemon. Instantaneously chaining up their prey, with anti-demon techniques and gear, they introduce themselves, each being an Imperial Guardian. On top of that, this trio were the ones who sealed away Blanc during the Bloody Shore incident, as the nostalgia washes over her. She exclaims last time they cut her meal short, and the group realizes this demon to be Blanc. Their original objective was to slay Ranga, but they've defeated Blanc once before, so then they can definitely do it again. This trio orders Gaster to retreat, and the lieutenant wastes no time fleeing. Upon transforming their gear into a legend-class set of gold armor, they declare Blanc doesn't stand a chance, though they look up to see a slender hand snapping Gaster's neck. Now, she'd very much appreciate if they'd kindly use her proper name of Testarossa. Realizing they're screwed, Davis orders a retreat. Gordon begins creating a portal, and Bolt buys time with his spear. Just like before, another neck is snapped, just as the portal begins to activate. With a flash, nothing happens, and Testarossa is confused at their reaction, and wonders if she was using the magic canceller wrong. It's unthinkable that someone could replicate their magic cancellors, causing the duo to cry out that archdemons can't be this powerful. Well, you see, Testarossa is a demon peer, and watches the last remnants of hope leave their eyes. It turns out that during their previous encounter many years ago, Testarossa had already fulfilled her contract, which is the only reason why she left. That being said, she's not forgiven them for interrupting that meal, and thinks it's time for them to atone. Ultima wonders what's taking so long, prompting Testarossa to explain it's just some old acquaintances. At this point, Davis knows this to be a second demon peer, all the while Gordon is curled up in a ball sobbing. Testarossa then summons that same black flame, before crushing it into
Death Streak.
the spell Guy used when he became a demon lord. This magic kills anything it touches by forcefully rewriting its genes via spiritual particles, though it's rumored that 1 out of 1 million people can in fact survive, but are transformed into a monster. In an instant, everything within 500 yards is dead, excluding our demonesses. Ultima praises Testarossa for not damaging the tanks, as apparently she only meant to blow up a single airship, but you know, they can still at least research the wreckage. This then begs the question of how much of a mess Carrera will cause, especially seeing as she rarely ever holds back. Together, they agree that it's unlikely anyone in the East is strong enough to kill Rimuru, and both declare they could have handled this war by themselves. Lastly, you come to find out that in reality, nobody has ever survived Deathstreak's 1 in 1 million chance, and that's because Testarossa steals the souls of her victims. With that, the battle is concluded. The tank force of 200,000 troops, along with the airships containing 40,000 troops, have all been thoroughly slaughtered, and Caligula is completely unaware as he continues his march toward Tempest. Gazeel is at a loss for words watching this battle. Warfare has without a doubt changed forever, and if not for Rimuru's warning, they could have been in serious trouble. Now it's true, the Empire's technology is impressive, but Rimuru proved that conventional weaponry, if used right, can still prevail. Honestly, the most concerning thing about this battle is how unbelievably powerful the monsters of Tempest have become. Jane proclaims those 3 girls to be the biggest problem, seeing as they just casually cast Nuclear Flame, followed by the forbidden spell Death Streak, the latter of which was previously believed to be uncontrollable. Gaziel is well aware of their true identities, but warns the others are better off not knowing. Obviously, they urge him to continue, and it's revealed that Rimuru's personal butler, Diablo, is in fact the primordial Noir. That can't mean the 3 girls are. Gaziel simply states that at this point, they've no choice but to simply trust Rimuru's ability to control them. In other news, Yuki, along with the East Composite Division, is still positioned at their eastern gate, all the while infantry is marching toward Tempest. It's safe to say that Slime has already won this war, and they must never forget to be thankful that Demon Lord Rimuru is peaceful toward humanity. Ryan Rebello, Detective Games, and Antag. Thank you, I really do appreciate it.